Alright, it's official. Ant-Man has more screen time than Henry Cavill's Superman. Ant-Man is a better character than Thor. There, I said it.
I'm back at it.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I don't know how to feel about this movie. Ant-Man has always been literally and figuratively a small-scaled hero. And in this movie, Marvel has decided to make him way more epic than he has ever been before. Which, depending on how you feel about his previous movies, you might like or dislike this change.
You're an interesting man, Scott Lang.
And I feel like the reason they have done this is because, well, we have lost and we are going to lose a few more actors and characters. So Marvel's probably thinking we need to start elevating our other characters. And so Ant-Man is getting that first shot at that.
So who the hell are you? I'm Ant-Man. Ant-Man?
So, what's it gonna be? Antman.
And on one hand, I'm not a huge fan of that because I've said in previous videos, not every single story needs to be this epic grand adventure. Because it's not like that in the comics. In the comics, there are big epic events. But for the most part, most stories are just punch that guy in the face. And technically, I guess that's what they do in this movie. In this movie, we decide to go back to the quantum realm. And I appreciate that we actually go there pretty early on in the movie. The movie doesn't really waste too much time doing that. And the quantum realm is pretty cool. It actually feels like a unique world, which I can't really say that happens a lot in Marvel. There's not a lot of unique locations in the Marvel universe besides Wakanda, that one planet in Thor Ragnarok, and now the quantum realm. The obvious comparison is Journey into the center of the earth.
Hey, George, he's got it.
But also this felt like I was watching a Star Wars movie, like old school Star Wars. There's a lot of cool background creatures, a lot of characters in makeup and costumes. It all looked really nice. On the flip side of that, it also felt like new Star Wars, where everyone's talked in quippy dialogue.
I'm in charge. I'm in charge now, Phasma.
Seriously, Marvel can't help themselves. They have to have their cake and eat it too, but they want to make an epic storyline, but they also have to have everybody joking and quipping in that dialogue that's been plaguing Marvel for the longest time now. Like, I get it, you want to have your lighthearted comic relief characters, but you already have that with your main character, Ant-Man. Ant-Man's already a comic relief character, but then on the flip side of that, there's also 3 other comic relief characters in this movie. Like, seriously, there's a character in this movie who, I'm just going to call him Kirby because he's literally Kirby at the end of the movie, that has a joke at the end of this movie that I didn't even crack a smile at. Hello, this is Editor Nate from the future. I just wanted to stop this program real quick and mention something I forgot to mention in my review, and that is Bill Murray is also in this movie for some reason. I don't know why. He's literally pretty much just a cameo, and it is so strange. I don't know if that's a spoiler, he's in one of the trailers, but honestly, he doesn't do anything in the movie anyway. And it's so strange because they kind of set him up to make him seem more important than he really is, but he's literally just in one scene and he's gone for the rest of the movie. I thought he would at least be similar to Jeff Goldblum's character was in Thor Ragnarok, but he's not even that. He's just there for some light dialogue and some comic relief, and he's gone.
Didn't expect to see you here. Look, it's me. I'm here to deal with it.
Now, I'm not against cameos or whatever. I get it. Hollywood, you guys love yourselves. You love showing off people you know and having them show up in your movies. But I don't know. If you're going to do that, have it actually be funny or interesting. Like Bill Murray randomly showing up just makes me think, man, I wish this movie was shorter. No pun intended. Alright, back to the review. Of course, not every character is plagued with that quippy dialogue.
So, what's it gonna be? Antman.
Our main villain, Kang, is the exception to that. Kang, played by Jonathan Majors. I think it's safe to say that this man is going places. I could see an Oscar in this man's future. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect when I heard that Kang was going to be the main villain of this movie. I was surprised, but also uninterested. I'll be honest, I did not like Jonathan Majors at the end of Loki.
You just woke up. Shut up!
I feel like I'm one of 2 people, including my sister, who did not like Loki at all. I don't care what anyone says, I'ma stand by that show was boring as hell. And I know Jonathan Majors is a good actor, but I did not like his portrayal of Kang at the end of Loki. I've never read Kang in the comics, and the only other thing I know about the character was in Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Give it up, Kang.
Kang does not give up Primitive.
And I have not rewatched that show in a very long time. But I was pleasantly surprised when I saw him in this movie. He steals the show in this. Seriously, it feels like this man read the script and said, nah, I'm not reading this quippy ass dialogue. And then he went to go watch Star Wars and said, I'm just going to be Darth Vader. Again, Marvel remembered that they could actually have tension in their movies. That they could have villains that are actually scary. Which makes me think that Taika Waititi just did not care about Thor Love and Thunder whatsoever. Seriously, what was the deal with that movie? Kang is on the same level as Thanos in this movie in the sense of I don't know how they're going to defeat this guy. Seriously, how are they going to beat this guy? He is too powerful. Also, he's got the drip. He's got the riz. Is that how you use that word? He's looking good. I don't know why they got the Power Ranger suits for our main trio.
I can do some old photos and it looks very similar.
Speaking of Power Rangers, there's a character in this who literally looks like Scorpina from Mighty Morphin. Seriously, I'm just glad we did not have an annoying villain in this movie. And one character who I thought was going to be a little bit more annoying was Scott's daughter, Cassie. I'm actually really glad they aged her up. I really like her and Scott's dynamic in this. Him having a daughter is really what set him apart from the rest of the Marvel cast, so I really like seeing that dynamic in this. Another negative though I would say about this is I really feel like Hope, aka the Wasp, does not get much in this movie. I mean, action wise she's still kicking ass, but story wise I really don't feel like she gets much. Really, her mother Janet gets most of the story because Janet has a relationship with Kang in this. It just feels kind of weird that in a movie called Antman and the Wasp, our second main character, the Wasp, doesn't really get much story beats. And speaking of the action, it's okay. It's alright. I don't know if I'm just numb to superhero action at this point. Like, I've seen so much live action, at least, that there's really not that much cool stuff. I feel like if they're not doing really cool physical stunts, it doesn't really impress me anymore. The coolest action I've seen in superhero movies recently has been Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, that one scene in Doctor Strange, and The Boys Season 3. I think the problem also is that Ant-Man, we've seen all this guy's powers already. He grows, he shrinks, and he controls ants. And now there's 3 characters in this movie that can do that. There's really just not much to do with his powers, unfortunately. Honestly, the best fight scene in this movie was just a normal fist fight at the end of the movie, which is appropriate because our main villain, Jonathan Majors, is supposed to be in the next Creed movie. Finally, I want to talk about the CGI in this movie. The CGI, for the most part, I thought was really well done. It looked pretty decent. There are, of course, some iffy shots as usual, but for the most part, I thought the CGI held up pretty well. Maybe it's because I just didn't notice it because I was watching this movie in IMAX, but I thought it looked pretty decent. However, these superhero movies more and more are just getting pretty much 90% CGI. Like, the characters are pretty much behind a green screen / blue screen, whatever, the entire movie. Because obviously they have to be, but I feel like if you're just gonna have majority of this movie be CGI, why not just make an animated movie? Why can't we get more animated superhero movies? Seriously, why is Spider-Man the only one? Why can't we get more animated superhero movies? There's Invincible, but that's a TV show. DC still makes animated movies, but they don't get released in theaters. Marvel hasn't made an animated movie since, 2005? Make more animated superhero movies, please. All in all, I think the most enjoyment I got out of this movie was seeing Kang. There's really not much to do character-wise with Ant-Man or the Wasp, but that doesn't mean this movie wasn't enjoyable. I'm mostly looking forward to see what they're going to do with Kang and Cassie in the future, and what the future of Marvel holds in general. Marvel movies are either really good, or I never want to see them again. Phase 4 had a lot of those movies, but that's all I got to say about this movie. It was pretty good. Let me know what you guys thought about this movie in the comments down below. Once again, like my video, consider subscribing if you want to see more. Once again, I've been Nate. This is Infinite Repeat. Stay up.